purposes of these positive and negative numbers, keep in mind that the negatives are good for thinking about like owing money. Like if you owe $10, that's like negative $10. And positives are good for either finding or getting money, or having money left over. If you think of just adding, subtracting positive and negative numbers as either owing money or finding money, it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to think about, well, if the sign is this, then it must be this. It just makes more common sense. Finding or getting. Sounds like positives. Owing money or losing money. Sounds like negative. We're going to go through different cases of different signs and just explain them in terms of money, and hopefully that will help you eliminate a lot of your, if any, positive, negative issues. Now this is only for multiplying, for adding and subtracting, counting. So here we go. So what about something like 8 minus 10? The way I would look at this is that 8 is a positive by default. So this is like if you have $8, positive is like if you have $8, find $8, but then you owe $10, negative. So what's the situation? Do you have money? Do you owe money? You owe money, and this is kind of like your warm-up as the answer positive or negative or 0. So, you know, if you have 8 and you owe 10, you owe money, and then how much do you owe? Likewise, you can switch this around. You have $10 and you owe 8. Do you owe money or do you have money? So think of the, I know this looks like a minus sign because it is, but think of it as a negative sign as well. And that's just both. What about if you owe $10 and then you owe $8 more? How much do you have or owe? What makes sense? Yeah, if you owe $8 to someone, you owe $10 to somebody else, what's the situation? Yeah, well, you owe money, that's for sure. So that's negative. How much do you owe? Yeah, you owe 18 altogether. So some people look at this and say, oh, I thought 2 negatives make a positive. Well, yeah, if you owe money to 2 people, it doesn't mean you have money. It means you owe a lot of money, right? So the 2 negatives make a positive only works for multiplying, dividing, or when the signs are right next to each other. And of course, we still have, if they're both positive, if you find, there we go. If you find $10 and you find 8 more, how much do you have altogether? And 18 positive. So you can see there's 2 kind of groups here. Kind that we have the same sign, 2 negatives and negative, 2 positive and positive. And we have positive and negative is negative, positive and negative is positive. So it's a little confusing if we just look at only signs. If you think of money, we don't have to memorize any rules. It just makes sense how we already think. Okay. So that's the main thing about positive, negatives, adding, subtracting is thinking about money, and negatives are owing. Positives are either have money or you get money. So what you're going to see on the front of your homework is also things with double signs. So what do you do about double signs? Now we know what a positive does, now we know what a negative does, right? What happens if you have both? For instance, what happens if you have 10 minus a positive 2? And you have 2 signs. Oh, what does that mean? You owe and found $2 is a little weird. So first thing you want to do with double signs is simplify. Now, same thing as before. Let's not make a math rule out of it, but just think of something like the way we already think. Think of this as negative being bad and positive being good. What happens if you have something good and you get rid of it. So if you have something good and you get rid of it, is that good or bad? Bad. So a negative and a positive is negative, a bad thing. And you just bring down the numbers. Okay. So taking away something positive is a negative. Getting rid of the positive is negative. So that's just 10 minus 2, which is 8. What about if I have a double negative? So what happens if I have 10 minus negative 2? So getting rid of, right, minus, getting rid of something negative, something bad, is that good or bad? Think of something bad, and if you get rid of it, is that a good or bad thing? It's a good thing. So if you think of like lots of homework as something bad, and you get rid of it, yeah, that's a positive, right? So logically, two negatives when they're right next to each other do make a positive. It's not something we made up in math that just works for math because it's a math rule, but you already think this way. In English, they call this a double negative as well. It's like, no, I do not like math or something. We use two words that are in the negative, which means a positive. Same thing over here. I can go back and say, we'll just switch the order a little bit and say, what's about 10 plus a negative 2? So is this a good or bad thing? If you have something negative and you add it. Think of something negative and you add it. Is that a good or bad thing? So think of a negative as being lots of homework. If you add lots of homework, is that good or bad? Probably bad. So that's why we say, yeah, positive and negative do make a negative also. Yeah, double signs. So that's the first step we're going to look at on the front, is taking care of all these double signs. And of course over here we just have the condition that, well, what happens if we add a positive? Is adding something good a good thing or bad thing? Good thing, yeah. So two positives are a positive. This only goes for signs that are right next to each other. Right next to each other. The signs have to be right next to each other. So let's flip it over. And just go down a few of these. And just change the double signs to a single sign. So for instance, on number 1, let's just take 2 minuses right here. And taking away something bad, taking away a negative, is that good or bad? Good. So that's positive, right? And you bring down the other numbers. So 3 and 5. And if you want, just go ahead and 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. So no double sign on number 3. There's no two signs next to each other. Same thing on number 5, number 7. No double signs. That's just a regular old 6 minus 6. Ah, number 11. Let's go down to number 11. Look at the double sign there. Go ahead and fix those two. And then go down to number 13. There's 2 of them. So we have to fix both. Both of them are negative. Okay. Alright, so go ahead and fix all the double negatives or all the double signs on the whole front side. Just rewrite each one without double signs. So a few things I'd like to show you just to might help you out a little bit. Look at number 19. So here you can see that there are 2 double signs right here and right here. Write down, please. Okay. So we got a negative here. Adding something negative is negative. taking away a negative, that's good. Eight. Here's something that might be helpful. You'll notice if you count up these negatives, like this -5 and this -3, what would that equal? -5 and -3.
Positive 8.
Close.
-5 and -3.
So if you owe $5 and you owe $3, you owe $8, right? And then you have this positive 8 here, right? So if you have this positive 8 right here and a negative 8 between these two, they kind of cancel each other out. -8 right here and this positive 8 all cancel out, and you're left with a -4. It's just one way of looking at it if it happens to work that way. Doesn't always, but that's something that might help. So just make sure you continue. Take care of all those double signs. Here, on number 21 is like you owe $5, you owe $8, you owe $8, and you owe $4. It's just a bunch of negatives. You gotta add them all up. So you can think of the minus signs as negatives, and it helps out. Okay? So go ahead and continue working on that. We'll be coming around to check, and we'll start off with the warm-up tomorrow will be this. Okay?